So now we're going to make a pivot to the banking sector and hear a lightning interview to catch up on the latest with digital banking with Ashok Vaswani, CEO of Global Consumer and Payments at Barclays, and co-founder and chairman of the board of Concordia, Nicholas Logothetis. Nick?
Thank you, Kevin. Sorry for the delay. It's great to be here, and my pleasure to welcome Ashok Vaswani here. We don't have too much time, so I'm not going to get too much into the biographies. I want to jump right in so we don't lose any time. Ashok, thanks for joining us. I think one of the most interesting questions for you these days, being a leader in banking and being in the United Kingdom, is how has the banking sector adapted after now 6 months of the COVID pandemic? What have you seen? What do we expect to be happening in the next couple of weeks and months?
Yeah. Hey, Nick, great to be with you. And what a crazy time. The banking sector, I thought I'd kind of share a couple of perspectives with you. The first thing is, it's actually quite remarkable that around the world, the banking sector has flipped to a working from home kind of environment without too much disruption, right? For the most part, banks have been able to get on with it. Now, I'm sure every bank has had a different kind of risk appetite, but for the most part, banks and financial institutions have coped with the pandemic and continue to provide services to all their clients. I find that actually quite remarkable. I think the second thing, if I could kind of sum it up in one word, is this whole notion of cocooning. People have been forced to kind of cocoon into their homes. And because people have been forced to cocoon into their homes, anything that actually gets to the cocoon has kind of prospered, and anything that requires people to step out of the cocoon has really kind of suffered. Uh, and that's why you see, on the one hand, something like a Netflix or an Amazon, versus dining out, hotels, airlines, and you can see that kind of playing out. And the question is, how long does this go on for, and what are the habits it creates in the people? Now, since banking is really a means to an end rather than an end in itself, things like digital payments and contactless payments have absolutely taken off. Usually, in a crisis, we see the usage of cash go up dramatically. And I think for the first time around, you've actually seen usage of cash decline. And while cash and check usage was on some kind of secular decline, this has taken a significant step downwards.
Do you think that, I know a lot of payments companies and, we've had executives from MasterCard here in the past, and I know they're sort of shooting for a cashless society. I mean, do you think that we are headed toward a cashless society, and has this pandemic accelerated that?
So, like I said, Nick, I think there was a secular decline in cash usage anyway, and that would have continued. Definitely, the pandemic has taken it to a faster, like a step change downwards, right? I'm not predicting the demise of cash very, very soon, but definitely there's been a significant uptick in plastic, digital, and non-cash kind of payments.
Yeah, no, I mean, I certainly am using much less cash than I was. And the US has sort of been behind on the contactless payment side, as you know. So hopefully that'll sort of increase. How do you see consumers?
We're seeing that in the US as well. That contactless payments have suddenly jumped up a bit.
Yeah, and I'm a Barclaycard holder in the US, so I'm your client, and it's great. What do you? How do you see sort of consumers' behavior changing as the technology has changed and adapted and evolved. Do you see, people, bricks, sort of stores, and will people go back to stores? Will e-commerce, this rise in e-commerce, be a thing that sort of stays the way it is? Or will it, when the pandemic hopefully ends, will some of the old behaviors start to come back?
Right. So I think, look, for one, if you look at what's happened, let's flip it around and see what's happening from the retailer side, or from the merchant side, or from the store side. Right. A lot of people have suddenly realized that, honestly, we can get a lot of sales and stuff done online. We have to do it online. There really is no way, and the cost of keeping the retail stores open and going is very high from multiple perspectives. Obviously, cost in dollars, but also in terms of health and safety. And therefore, what we saw was, from a merchant acquiring side of the business, big corporates kind of flipped very, very quickly to online usage. SMEs took a little while longer, but even SMEs have started flipping to online usage. Having said that, experiences is something that people will crave for. And therefore, the shopping experience, or the leisure experience, the restaurant experience, that I don't think is going to go away forever. So it may be reduced. It will definitely mean that there'll be far more commoditization, falling of prices between in store and online. But I don't see that disappearing once the pandemic is over. And frankly, even once the lockdown eases, you're seeing a lot more people go out. At the end of the day, human beings are social animals.
Yes, yes, we are, and I think that's the thing that's taken a lot of people by surprise, is how much we need social contact. Well, listen, Ashok, we had just a short time today. It was very informative, and certainly the banking sector is one to look at as we hopefully come out of this pandemic very soon. And we very much appreciate you being here, and thank you, and I hope to see you next year in person in New York.
Thank you. Thank you.